calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThatUmbrellaGuy. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me. I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me. I'm a man.
Have you communicated with a social media user who goes by the name ThatUmbrellaGuy?
I've had several phone calls with a person who goes by the name ThatUmbrellaGuy. I don't actually know his real name.
I'm a man.
Hey there, how's it going today? Man, I didn't think I was going to get here. You ever have one of those days? I had a day that was so today that I talked to, I don't want to call him my boss because I don't know if I really have a boss position per se, but I talked to the person that I let know things, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to take tomorrow off, or I'm going to take the rest of the year off, one or the other. They're like, okay, well, you take tomorrow off if you need to. But I was like, man, today has been that jacked up. Ran me behind and everything else. But we're here. We're here. We got some crazy to cover today, and it's going to be fun. Oh, my gosh. You won't even believe the insanity that's kicked off today. Today started out really interesting. Now I'm going to refer you to something. I'm going to ask that if you have not kept up with the insanity so far in the Eliza Blue stuff, I'm going to ask you, I typically will not do this, but I left it up from yesterday. Watch yesterday's live stream if you don't know. Eliza Blue, again, you know about the bannings, I'm sure. You know about the insanity that's come up, but you need to watch it because you need to understand just how deep this rabbit hole goes. It's crazy. Stacy D, by the way, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. I do appreciate that. Thank you sincerely. Today, though, we woke up to Eliza Blue actually sort of answered things. I mean, okay, what we're going to have today is we're going to find out many a thing. We're going to find out that Tim Pool actually had a rider that was embedded with Eliza Blue. Sounds great, right? Since Tim Pool was one of the people that built up the Eliza Blue. The only problem is this person has gone on the record talking about how a great person she is. The scheduler for Tim Pool, too, blocked Fair and Balanced, called her the dime story. Nancy Grace, and is also really good friends with Eliza Blue. And Tim Pool actually started off the day talking about, well, I'm thinking about covering this, but the quartering, kind of blaming the quartering for things, and then deleted everything that he had to say about it. So it's been that kind of day. But before all of that, we actually, look at this. I mean, it's been a day. It's been a fascinating development day, but we got a lot to cover on it. So we found out, though, this person here. Now, there was actually an announcement about this, and I didn't know that. But this guy is actually a writer for Timcast. To make this to make this clear, I don't have any problem with Timcast. I don't watch his show. It's not for me. I don't like politics. I especially don't like fence riding politics, and what I mean by that is, like, for me, I don't bring up politics because I have strong opinions on politics, and that's not the point to what we do. My strong opinions is screw your politicians. I don't really ever like to get into that. So I just don't watch the show, but I have nothing pro or con against the guy. What I do think, though, is he had talked about this stuff like he didn't know anything about it. He'd made it sound like over and over again, like he was uninformed at all about what had been going on. And yet he had somebody with Eliza Blue. So, those two things, they don't kind of fit together. Also, interestingly enough, Eliza Blue tried to play this off like this wasn't something that people would have known about. Check this out. Now, this is actually kind of funny. So she came out and was like, I wasn't going to say anything, but the writer for, his name is Shane, the writer for Timcast, Shane, spent a few days with me, but the information was made public. So here we are. January is National Human Traffic Prevention Month. It's a busy time for survivors, advocates, and others in the movement. I was busy, still am. So she was like, hey, this wasn't going to be made public. So, da-da-da. But the thing is that, yeah, it was actually announced by her on January the 8th. So she's come in and pretended like this hasn't happened. See, here's her announcement from January the 8th. You can see this. I'm excited for Shane from Timcast and his beautiful wife to come spend a few days with me on the farm. He's the only writer I feel comfortable with. And, on the other side of that, Shane was like, oh, yeah, grateful for that opportunity. Profiling radicals. Interestingly, I found this thing today that so this person has been showcasing themselves as a conservative, right? Well, I found a message a year ago where she was like, I'm an anarchist. I'm a total anarchist. So, I mean, everything, like every single thread is a lie. It seems like everything. But anyway, that was actually known apparently. Now, I didn't notice it before because I didn't care. I didn't care until people started getting banned. But now Timcast actually sounded off on this too. I want to show you this before I show you what Eliza Blue had to say today. So Timcast, and he's deleted this stuff because, well, yeah, because Timcast, right? But Timcast said, people want us to talk about the Eliza Blue story. When he asked, he was like, hey, we're going to cover, you want us to cover this? I mean, he was making it sound like, hey, we didn't have any plan to talk about this. We didn't have a writer embedded. Again, they tried to make it sound like there was nothing. And then, like, read this. Some people were like, he's not being a D-bag to the quartering, but yeah, he kind of is. You got to remember something about this post. Quartering's scheduled to be on with them a month before everything was kicking off. So it was last month. He ended up flaking on them. He said he forgot. I do that. I forget interviews all the time. If I've forgotten one on you, I apologize. It's just busy life. You do that sometimes. And I never schedule. Like, I don't like to. I like to do things in the now because I never know how my time will be. But he makes it sound like, well, we would have covered it, but the quartering, listen to this. Hey, by the way, just thanks for the 5 there. Hey, Umbrella Guy. Hey, chat. Hope you're doing good. And remember to have an awesome day or evening. Indeed. I hope it's like I said, hoping for a much better one. You have to excuse me too. I am actually every now and then, like I have a couple of bad habits. I have one bad habit that I have to cut out almost all the way. But today, oh Lord. So I'm I'm indulging in a bad habit today. I'm actually I'm cigaring, which I I can't do after I have 2 left. And I'm like, all right, after they're done, I will never be able to do them again, not for health changes. Oh, I hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. But that's life, right? So anyway. The he flaked on. Okay, so we had the quartering book for yesterday, booked a month in advance. He flaked on us. His words. He can come anytime. We'd find a due date. Y'all want a show about it? We had it timed perfectly, but it fell apart. Now, doesn't that sound like a blaming the quartering? Does that not sound like it? No, that's a total blaming the quartering statement, right? That's what it feels like. Well, Tim Pool deleted all of this stuff. He scrubbed it. In fact, like I said, and I'm very irritated by all of this stuff. And I was like, wow, did they get taken down or did they remove that? Give me 1 second. I'm wondering, wow, did they get deleted? Their whole freaking account. Wow, they ghosted their entire account today. So there was somebody putting out, that was weird. Anyway, there went another account today that has just gone offline. That was strange. But let me find this real quick. So Timcast was asking about whether or not he should have them on. And this is my feeling about it. He keeps talking about whether or not to do this. And my opinion is this part is truly my opinion on it. He has a large enough platform that right now, if he were to cover this, the bannings would probably slow down. I personally think he by himself could probably get that to happen. He's connected enough these days that he could have that. So with all due respect, fucking do something. He's always talking about how he wants to change things and he's about, free speech and da-da-da. Well, fucking do something then. I mean, how hard is that, man? I mean, he helped create this problem. Eliza Blue got big because of all the people that profiled her. And one of those people was Timcast. I'm not blaming him for that. Nobody knew who she was. I'm not blaming that, but what I am saying is people are losing accounts left and right. And if you are, undo the damage, man. Undo it. I mean, it's very easy, So anyway, Eliza Blue, I woke up this morning and she had gone on a tweeting storm. She blamed everything she talked about everything from Elon Musk to Jesus to Kanye West. I mean, everybody got brought up. It's just, it reminds me of the, well, really, a lot of people have gone this way. But Jack Murphy, he really did go down this rabbit hole, this way of going. Like he did with damage control. So Eliza Blue, though, her first thing that she put out today, with her, I'm never going to talk about this again, right? Well, first she says, I think that Elon is a great person. I don't have anything negative to say about him. He doesn't do any favors for me. I'm saying this because it's true. He's a good person, but also he doesn't do favors for me. I also don't ask to do favors for me. If I was going to ask for a favor from Elon Musk, I would ask him to make humans a multi-planetary species. So basically, what he's already working on, I don't need to ask. Yeah, bullshit. That's a load. We all know that that's deflection. We all know that Twitter behind the scenes is working to create brand new rules to essentially protect this person. So that's your first piece of deflection today. Then, good God, man, how many times I'm going to refresh that stupid thing? Then we got the Shane Cashman, the Tim Pool person. We had that noted. Now, here's another interesting thing. Look at the amount of traffic that she's getting. I mean, for a while, every post that she put up was like thousands of posts. It was something. She put on there though with Shane Cashman. She actually asked, I've been working. I understand folks have concerns. I have concerns as well. Everyone wanted me to talk. I was working. It wasn't my time to talk. I was listening. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. You weren't listening. You were threatening people with lawsuits. That's what you were doing. So let's not get that twisted. You weren't sitting around. Like, I always hate this part. This is where people that come from that quote unquote social justice element. And she very well is one of that. She's clung to one specific type of politics. She says she's a conservative, but she's a listening believer. And she's a chameleon. She's whatever she can be that benefits her. But really, in reality, I mean, she's dyed in the wool, listen and believe, social justice type. And those types will wreck you with accusations. They'll threaten you. I mean, again, I've seen a million of these. Like, it's not like we've never covered somebody like this before. Like, they're not unique. They're a dime a fucking dozen. It's just the level that they get to sometimes is amazing. But she said, I still want to talk. I still want to listen, but I'll talk. I guess the question is, are you ready to hear what I say? Yeah. So she had somebody that's planted that's going to give her that's going to give her the right type of coverage. Then she put up the, are you not entertained? I don't think she's very entertained right now. I'm entertained. I'm having a lot of fun, actually. Like this, these are my type of free time. And yes, I'm having a lot of fun. What's up, Hugh? Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships as well. Thank you for that sincerely. I do appreciate it. I love watching them hit the chat too. I always love, like, that's the one thing I like more than anything. I think that's there. So give me 1 second. I gotta do this. 1 second. This will be a lot. Well, you'll hear a light. My torch ran out, so I got like a little bitty lighter. It's like, it's like, I can't do this. What are you asking from me? Then she goes on the I love Jesus, right? So she's gone from Elon Musk to hey Timcast to are you not entertained to Jesus. This is all in the same hour, by the way. This is all popping up together. You notice that, right? 17 hours ago, everything. I love Jesus and he loves me back. I used to be afraid to say that in public, but I'm not afraid anymore. This is the thing that like Jack Murphy pulled. This is classic deflection. Ah, man. You see so many people do this. And then, she's like, you know what? You know what would help with this too? I'm going to bring up Kanye West. Kanye. I mean, if you're trying to rehabilitate your image, nothing says rehabilitation of your image, right? Then Kanye West. I mean, he did a great job, right? With all of his let's just say that he doesn't like Jewish people. Maybe that was the best way to put it, but he does like certain people that agree with him on Jewish people. We'll go with that. Richard, thanks for the 20 there. Appreciate that. You are amazing. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. You are amazing. Thank you. And also, let's see, Travis. What's up, Travis? Thanks for the 5. She's going to die on that hill. Yeah, on the AH hill. Then she better prepare to get the wrath that comes with being a lying piece of garbage. Well, she's already getting this. The problem is people deflect. Like a lot of this is classic deflection, and it works. Like when she brought up Elon Musk, and she'll do this again. She brings him up yet again. You'll notice people start, they bring up Elon. They're like, oh, God, you notice it's locking. I'm having to drop commentary down because if you look at this on Twitter, every single reply people give is locked. But what this is classic deflection. It puts you on your heels. It's just like if I said, "Oh, you're obviously a racist." If you're like, "Yo, I'm not a racist," it deflects. It puts you back in a defensive posture, and that's the way people are like. They're not. I'm not talking about Elon. I'm talking about Elon. I have no qualm. I think Elon's behind this. I'm tired of pretending that Elon, again, I asked this on Twitter too. I was like, really, at what point do people see that there's a problem here and that Elon lied to them about it? And the comments are like, more. How much rope do you need? More. Elon's never to blame. And it's like, yeah, okay. The problem with that is it's not true. What's up, Viral Shorts? Thanks for the 10 there. Appreciate that. Tug, I want to say your best weapon and your key to success is One keyword: exposure. It's why Johnny Depp won. It's also why Project Veritas exposed Pfizer executive, and it's what you're doing now. Indeed. I mean, this is how, this is a question that I ask people too. When you see stuff like this, people are like, well, if you cover this, you might get banned. I might have got banned over Amber Heard. I mean, we took a very big gamble. In fact, with that, yeah, I was told if she won the case that YouTube would flush us, all of us, not just me. They'd flush anybody because, oh, how dare us cover it the way we did, right? But at what point do you have a problem with what's happening? At what point do you draw a line in the sand and you say, okay, I can't accept this? And I think a lot of us have those lines. For me, this bothers me. It bothers me to think that so many people, we're not just clueless about this situation. We were lied to. We were lied to by a lot of people, and a lot of people don't want to fix this problem. We still don't know. If you haven't watched yesterday, one of the things I brought up was the outlet Red State. Red State did an article, and their article, they pulled it. They pulled it after one day. We have no idea. She does have political connection. Now, I believe I said that her dad was a governor. That is not correct. Her dad ran for, let me actually read this because I don't want to, yeah, that's one thing I do want to correct. 1 second. When her dad he ran in 2017 for against an incumbent. He was on the ticket with somebody else. He ended up losing, but he's a longtime politician. So technically, no, not a governor there, but definitely a politician. So I do want to make sure that I got that right on record, by the way. Scott Christie, thanks for the 2. The grift must always find Jesus. It is in the rules. Well, it's definitely something. If you can unite enough people under the banner, it's the same thing with listen and believe. You notice like Amber Heard used survivors, women, any group that you can crush into this amalgamation that stands behind you. She's playing right now she's playing conservative, Elon Musk. Of course, all the Elon Musk simps, they gotta not the Elon Musk. I want to make this clear too. If you wanted change on Twitter, I don't blame you. I wanted it too. I just don't believe in Elon Musk. And after a while, if you keep like he can do no wrong, you're simping for the man. I get wanting to have faith, but at a certain point, it's blind. It's just not healthy. But she has that, and she has a million other things. Survivor, everything else. She's taking all these identities and she's throwing them together. And it works. It works very well. That's the sad part. The squid, thanks for the 10. Dude, none of these grifters understand that because of social media and the internet, the line, I'm a Christian now, forgive me, doesn't work anymore. Well, what's interesting is she didn't use the line that she's just like, yo, I wear my faith now. And people were like, 10,000 people like that. So they were down with it. And one other. Soft Talk, thanks for the 10. Hey, Tug, up working late. I don't get to watch as often now. Hope the family is well. Here's 10 for the tip jar. Thank you. Appreciate that. I know other people when they live stream, some people don't read chats. I think that's terrible. I don't care if we had to stay here all night. We don't read chats. But if they're coming in with topics like this, I like to see what people are thinking in the moment, with that. So I try. Like some people don't do that, but I try if you're new here. So Eliza continues. This is her last statement. I'm going to say this last thing because it's my heart. If you're trying to get me out of the way to pull down Elon Musk, you notice this. Oh, I'm not going to go anywhere. It ain't about Elon Musk, you fool. It's about freaking you. But Elon Musk simping for you. Yeah, I hope Twitter crashes and burns. I do. Like, does that make me a terrible person? Where I have a platform on there. I've got about 100, almost 150,000 people. I'll offend people and I'll go back down to 148, 147 or something sooner or later. But right now I have 149,000 plus. I don't know where we're at right now. With that, I still don't care because I don't like living under the boot heel of someone else. Old Twitter did that to us. New Twitter is doing that to us. And if that's the thing, then Twitter can burn. And I'll enjoy watching this spectacle. It'll be a slow burn. It'll fizzle. It won't go out like that. But if that's going to be, if the second verse is the same as the first, then who cares, I'm just don't buy the deflection. So she's like, or to get me to stop being a survivor advocate, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not budging. I'm going to stand right here. You can move me. You can move me. Whoopsie. Maybe when you're flexing, you should be like, Twitter Blue, is she verified? Or is that here, let me check something real fast. I'm curious. Pop that. I got to see if she's verified or if that's nope, that's Twitter Blue. So she has the ability to edit, but she was like, whoops, can't change that, can't move me. That's awesome. I'm lazy when it comes to editing, by the way. But if I were going to put out, something I was in the middle of damage control, I'd probably try to get it right, And I'm sure that I sometimes get the feeling that she works with somebody to try to do damage control sometimes. She definitely has the organizational power for it, but you can move me, yeah. He doesn't need to stand here. He doesn't need me to stand here, but I've decided I'm not moving. Let that sink in. As far as being an advocate goes, I'll die an advocate. My advocates went to hell and back for me. I'm not going to forget their kindness. At least I can do the same. First tweet should have said can't. You can't move. You cannot. You realize, you typed all this in the same. You can change that. It does work. Again, you pay for the tool. Just saying. It is there. Again, if you're going to pay $8, I'm sorry, $8 to $11, depending. Oh, man. I tell you, these folks, you can move me, baby. You can. Hey, wait a minute. But yeah, I mean, you see that. She started going into, and she retweeted somebody, they deleted, they were like, nope. But this has been what she's doing now. She's finally decided, it's gotten bad enough. And it is bad. After Ella Irwin came out and backed her play, I feel that Timcast is going to back their play too. I think what they'll do, they embedded somebody that's going to softball. And here's the thing, these folks were saying, well, so give me a minute. They actually went after Fair and Balanced. All right. The person that books Timcast actually went after her. And it was interesting to see how they frame this, because in the framing of it, it really tells you how they look at this situation. And they're wrong. They're actually wrong about the situation. So I want to show you a couple of these statements here. She first, give me 1 second. She first blocks Fair and Balanced, which I'm pulling up. This is going to be all in the same thing. She first blocks Fair and Balanced. Yeah. And then she also says this. Timcast will have the exclusive story. Sorry, Daily Beast and Dollar Store Nancy Grace. Now, here's the thing. Who gives a shit what Eliza Blue says at this point? Everyone else has filled in the blanks. You getting her to speak, oh yeah, sure. I mean, that's a component in it, of course. But the reality is she's already spoken. And they're planning on ignoring it. I will bet you money. Now, they may change the way that they were planning to flow after the blowback they've gotten. If Timcast, I'll say this, if Tim Pool comes out and tries to deflect for her after everything that's gone on record, it will burn him. It will burn him big time. I mean, to basically find out that they've had somebody embedded with her, again, it's all this controversy goes on. And they tried to make it sound like they were talking to her because of the controversy, but they won't. They weren't. They already had it booked. So that's not correct. But Fair and Balanced has a lot on this. I've talked to her. She is probably, I'm going to say that she is probably the most knowledgeable person on this subject. Now, there are a lot of knowledgeable people. That Star Wars girl, Chrissy Mayer, of course, Brittany Venti, the quartering. I mean, there are a lot of knowledgeable people. A lot of people have been going down this. And I'm missing a lot of people in there too, like, Toxic, like Toxic, of course, I'm going to give you a shout out. And so many other people. Again, the people who started it that got banned. And that's part of this thing. It doesn't matter if you go in and you try to damage control after the fact. The damage is done. And part of that damage is people are losing their accounts over. It's not about the first thing. So no matter how you damage control that first clip, it won't. It's moved well beyond that. I mean, again, there are armies of people that have been banned. Some of them have been banned over just sharing links. I clipped one. Give me a second. Now, I don't have this right in front of me. I have it on my phone, but give me a minute. I want to pull this up. So somebody, I had not seen this before. This is actually somebody that I know, Velnid. They had been banned because, listen, this is what had to be removed. They wrote, Eliza Blue has links of videos on Twitter removed at Brittany Venti, and it links Brittany Venti's discussion of it. That link, Brittany Venti's stream talking about this, was taken down, and people were forced to take it down. When you're forced to take links down too, if you continue to do that, they'll ban you. But they banned people, or Defango got banned again for saying something to Twitter trust and safety. Again, this is a bigger story. Now we also have a second part that has come out about the Cloud Goblin. By the way, I am going to make a shirt, a Cloud Goblin shirt. We're working on it. We should have it tomorrow. It'd be funny. I like that idea. I like the idea of Cloud Goblin shirt. It's funny. It'll be from Peter Gilmore. But I think it's funny. So I've got to make some Cloud Goblin merchandise. Cloud Goblin. But in yesterday's Eliza Blue Files, I reintroduced the internet to Eliza Blue, the activist that has the power to change the rules at Twitter and censor her critics. Now, remember, I went over part 1 yesterday. It did a pretty good job of putting in everything, except it did miss certain portions, like her redefining what trafficking is. I've waited on this one, so I'm going to go through this. If it doesn't have the redefinition of trafficking, somebody please remind me to put that on record too, because I want it all in here, But yes, somebody was like, oh, you can get merch. Yes, if you like merch, by the way, you want to support the channel, ThatUmbrellaGuy.com. We cut the when we were covering some of this stuff, people went after our Teespring and everything else. We had a Teespring, so I had Ray, our internet guy. Props to him. You can find him if you need something set up. We built our whole thing. So if you like what we do, you want some merch, boom. You want anything, boom. Or you just show up and enjoy it. Somebody, for some reason, randomly, somebody typed in comments yesterday that I got to pay to watch live streams. I was like, where the hell did you get that idea from? Never paid wall, never actually put it under memberships. It would help with memberships, but I've never done that. I don't like the idea of paywalls. I just, if people like what you do, they will support you. They love you, they will support you. But paywall and shit is ridiculous, especially since this information, if we hide it behind a paywall, who's covering it? I mean, I want to give real props to Bounding into Comics. They did cover it. Number one. They were number one out the gate, no matter what. You had Pop Topic that covered it too, independently. I reservingly give any credit to Giant Robot for covering this, because really they were attacking bounding into comics. Apparently, that's what they do these days. So they kind of covered it, but those two places I know covered it, and there were probably some other independent media places that covered it. So I do want to give clout for that. But if we hide stuff behind paywalls and shit, where exactly? I mean, where are you going to find out about this? It's all happening so fast, too. Like, I can't even keep up with all of it. So anyway, how a cloud goblin falsely took credit for Twitter removing child porn. So Eliza Blue burst on the scene through a combination of running the conservative libertarian podcast scene and one viral Twitter thread claiming to have gotten child porn removed from Twitter on November the 20th. The problem? She lied. Not only did she lie about this, too, which is actually bad, but right now, the censorship that is going on Twitter, it is utilizing the mechanism that is supposed to keep this stuff off Twitter. So the very mechanisms that should be used only to combat these kind of things are being utilized to combat your free speech. Fascinating, right? They're scrubbing links to this when they're supposed to be scrubbing links to child porn, protecting children. What's up, Isaac, by the way? Thanks for the 10. The fact that people still listen to Tim Pool baffles me. He didn't do anything with Jack Murphy after he platformed him, and now he's doing nothing after platforming this woman. Tim Pool is a grifter. Like I said, I don't watch Tim Pool, really. I've been disappointed. The one thing that disappoints me, then again, I have friends that have been hit by this, okay? Like, Yellow Flash is my friend, as I've said many times. He's not an internet friend. I consider him my friend. Camelot, I like that dude. I could see, like, he would be fun to hang out with. If I get a chance, I've been invited to hang out. If I get a chance, I will, for sure. But, the quartering had my back at one time when no one else did. I'm not going into all that again. I talked about it yesterday. But, yeah, over and over again. Brittany Venti, that's wrong. Wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter. And if I did platform somebody, you don't know who they are in the beginning. You're not doing wrong by interviewing and talking about a subject. But if you do and you build, you should talk about it, especially when people are like, yo, hey, come on. And you have, again, we found out that he had a writer embedded with this person. So it's not like it wasn't just not seeing that, but again, it feels very much she has a good friend in the booking for Timcast. Eliza Blue has a good friend there, that person. And on top of that, a person embedded with her, taking pictures with her and stuff. You know how that's going to be framed. You just know it. You can see it from the way that Eliza Blue is reacting to it. Especially since yesterday, we talked about another reporter that asked her questions, right? And that reporter, when they asked her questions, she flipped out about shit. And that was just random questions. So if she wasn't, you could imagine how she would be if she even had the inkling that this thing could be a negative piece on her. But anyway, she lied. So you can see the first article. This first article from Tesserani was brave enough to investigate for herself. So under Elon Musk, Twitter is taking child exploitation seriously. I thought about talking to this person, by the way. I'm thinking about, here's an idea. I don't like to live stream with people very much. The reason I don't like that, if I live stream for myself, I only answer to what I do. That's one beautiful thing. But on top of that, you got to get them here and everything else. But I thought about paneling in some people. I want to talk to Fair and Balanced. We're going to try to get her on Flashcast for sure. We're going to try to get Chrissy Mayer. Maybe we can get Brittany Venti. I don't know. But Saturday, we're definitely going to have people. But I'd like to talk to this person because they have some interesting insight. And again, fair and balanced, I think would be really good. I've been on a couple of things with her, and I want to shout her out regardless because she's done good work on this. And people are trying to bury her for it. So she needs clout for it, because she's done a lot of work. But anyway, so as early as 12/1, people on Twitter were pointing out the contradictions in her claims. Users were reporting publicly that there was still plenty of activity being used to trade child exploitation material. That is very true, too. There was quite a bit of it. And it was like battle won, baby, battle won. No. The biggest distributor, I believe, is Facebook, actually. I believe the second biggest is Twitter. Now, that's crazy. When you consider, you would think that like a porn site or something, they would have that. But no, they have mechanisms that, again, they're not infallible, but they have mechanisms to combat this kind of stuff. They could employ some of those types of mechanisms. They could ban certain type of search terms, that are actively used for it, and they could stop. I did a video under old leadership where I actually got a ban for calling out an account doing that and asking people to mass flag it because I was attacking somebody. They said I was inciting hatred against a protected class. That's what they were telling me. So they were telling me that pedophiles were a protected class, I guess. Yeah. So anyway, you see this here. So certain people, this is an open secret. Certain people have pushed a false narrative that the 3 top hashtags used to trade child porn were removed from Twitter through automated processes after Elon purchased the company. We know for a fact this is false. We are working with a media outlet to reveal the evidence. On December the 3rd, these popular child sex trafficking hashtags remain live on Twitter. People close to Eliza were begging her to address the issue and get back to work with her apparent Twitter connections. And she does have Twitter connections. Apparently those connections, from what's being talked about, they don't just stem prior management. She goes back to old management. And there are people that are using that as an excuse for Elon. They're saying, oh, there must be a rogue Twitter employee. No, the new head of trust and safety is changing the rules actively on Twitter. Elon has answered somebody about this and said, well, basically, I don't have time to do anything about that. I got all this other stuff going on. Although he has plenty of time to, if you should look through what he responds to. He knows it's there. He very well knows this is happening. He's passing the buck. He's like, I'm not going to get blamed for doing this, but he definitely knows it's happening. But anyway, you can see this. 2 years ago, I provided Twitter comms with a hashtag that was being used to trade child porn on this app. Despite all the Elon fanfare, it's as active as ever. There's even a photo of a little girl promoting the abuse material she's quote unquote starring in. It has been up for 8 days. I'm pausing for a minute to let you drink that statement in. This is the kind of stuff. So like I said, there was one of those accounts that was doing that, and I wanted it taken down. Somebody sent me a link to this account. It was like, oh my God! It was like, oh my God, revulsion. It was like, oh. Because there were active pictures and videos that would play, like Twitter autoplay stuff, and there were active autoplayed videos in there. I was like, oh, why? So they won't do anything about it. And this is somebody, they can get Brittany Vinny and armies of people banned just like that, but they can't get accounts taken down. Not for child exploitation with children. Really? Curiously, pro-Elon outlet Teslarati had an article written and ready to go and released same day as the viral Eliza Blue thread. The article was published on November 19th, making the exact same claim as Eliza Blue and was shared in the same thread. Seemed like coordinated PR. It's definitely coordinated PR. You can tell that there is coordinated PR between Elon, Twitter, these pro-Elon outlets. I mean, it's definite. It's noticeable. By now, she was their go-to person. She was going to be the face of their advocacy. The problem is She came with floppy shoes, and they never noticed that. They take pictures from the neckline up, and they never look for the floppy shoes. Oh man, always look for the floppy shoes. Not big feet. I have big feet, but I never have floppy shoes. So you can see update the first article. So you can, with that, you have your article in there too. Eliza Blue, a relatively obscure small account on Twitter, gained 48,000 followers in November, an additional 116,000 new followers on the back of being touted as the slayer of child porn on Twitter. The only problem is it's still there. It never are still here, really, on here. Never went anywhere. And yeah, she did that, but there was more to that too. She also gained her following by discussing the Twitter files, by pulling Elon Musk into Twitter Spaces and discussing things with him live. She had access to Elon Musk. She had intimate access to Elon Musk. Very quickly, she could get him into conversations. She could pull that together. I mean, it was easy, and it grew her into, she went from getting like 20 likes on posts to everything that she put up, every single thing that she talked about. She'd get thousands. I should have switched that, sorry. But Eliza Blue, my bad. Hundreds of thousands of people saw the thread and thought child porn was gone. It was not, and the worst part is, once you do that, people stop looking. And that's true. People stop. They think the battle's won. Like, that is a problem. Once you announce the war is over, people stop fighting. Let me rephrase that. The normies stop fighting. The people that could be brought in, galvanized, and truly do that. That's PR. Oh man, look what new management did. They took out this problem. Poof. And again, they brought in somebody that was supposed to be the face of advocacy and survivors. They were built up as the face of the person that helped slay this dragon along with Elon Musk. It is. It's very much open fanfare for it. What's up, Tug or Not? Thanks for the 4 months there, Tug. Wanted to say thanks for the shout out. For it, thank you everybody who helped save it. Also, I sent history to Blue Cloud Goblin to your DM and email. I'll have to check that out. Thank you, I will. And no problem, man. Yeah, Tug or Not had some they're getting married. Props to them, by the way. Congratulations. I hope you have a great one there. But they had some insane stuff that happened around that. So, I mean, there was just some insane stuff for sure, legitly. So people, they were like, yo, let me send you a gift or something. And again, I'm glad that worked out. Again, props to you. So for weeks, tens of thousands of followers poured in. Child porn remained live, and Eliza Blue had issued 0 corrections. As late as December the 4th, Twitter was reaching out to other people to help fix it. Turns out the child porn reporting system was broken and still was at that point. So not only were they giving this person credit for fixing something, the entire system that was built to take this down, it was actually broken. So behind the scenes, the PR play, it was, they were showing you what is a Potemkin village. It's a facade. There's nothing behind it. Spray painted buildings. They're not real. It's all fake structure. What's interesting when the Quartering talks about the problems that are coming up with Elon Musk's Twitter. As I've said, he was one of the biggest supporters out there for Elon. He still is. He still gives him. I don't really blame Elon. I do, by the way. Again, you can have your own opinions on that, but I definitely do. But you can see the mindset change in a lot of people. It's how Twitter burns. But anyway, I mean, and this stuff comes out because people are looking now. But small but promising update. The head of Twitter safety reached out directly to me an hour ago. They note After a short exchange, the account with the photos of the little girl had been suspended finally. So it took up till December the 4th to get that stuff done. Now, in fact, as late as December the 6th, child porn was still roamed free on Twitter. Almost 2 weeks after Eliza Blue claimed it was gone and suggested to be partly responsible. So you can say, they're talking about it. On Musk Twitter's, users look to sell and trade this material, and it's still easily found. Bottom line, Eliza Blue went viral as the savior of exploited children, but when the chips were down, it was clear she was wrong. She abandoned them in exchange for Twitter followers and clout. Now that's just a piece of the puzzle. That tells you how some of the clout got there. There's more of it, but again, like I keep saying, everything seems to be built on a foundation of lies. Let me pull something up for you. I gotta pull it out of a message, so I have to not share until I pull it, okay? Because I sent it to somebody. But I want to show you this. I want to show you this statement about I'm an anarchist, because again, everything is fake. I've shown the Andrew Tate denouncement, and again, as I say every time, this is not about Andrew Tate. Only if you're if that's what you take from any of this conversation. People are so strange with stuff, though. People take things so weird. I think internet is such a bizarre place. But this, here's what I mean. Okay, right now, this person is camouflaging themselves as a Christian conservative. That's who they are, right? They pretty much say that's what they've always been, yeah. But here, they're talking about their podcast, and they're telling you, I'm an open anarchist. How exactly? See, those two ideas, I don't care what you are either, by the way. I'm not an anarchist or anything. I don't believe in political party, like the way that they're structured. I think we have one political party buzzwording two ways, and it's a bunch of tripe. I think it's a joke. It's a giant joke, and unfortunately, we're the punchline. That's the way I see it. But I don't claim ever to be on any team with that. I would rather be able to think however I want and laugh at anything. And I encourage more people to be that way. But if you vote one way or the other, I don't care. You identify another way, I don't care. But the lie, the galvanization, it's easy. One of the ways that you get people to back you and to never back down, to never stop doing that, is you exclaim that you're X, Y, or Z. That's what we see here. I'm an open anarchist back then. Now, again, we're not talking about the distant past either. This is in 2022. So, I mean, we've gone from, in a few short months, she will be in conservative spaces telling everyone that she's an open conservative again. She's adding in the religious connotation to it. It's just another layer of the onion that is a lie. There's so many lies, and it's all built. It's a facade that if you look at it, period, you can tell that it's a fraud. I mean, it's absolutely unreal. The level of, it's not just the level of the fraud here. It's the fact that, unfortunately, so many people, they buy into it. And again, nothing is being done about it. Like if you do a search, let me do one real quick. If you do a search for Eliza Blue, let me pull this up real fast. If you look for news on her, what you'll find is nothing in the way of negative. In fact, if you look it up, depending on the search engine, you may not find anything at all. But the only thing that really shows easily, now you can find Pop Topic in Google, but the only article that truly pops up in searches is the article by Bounding into Comics. They're the only one that put out something about it, about the banning here. They discussed it. They discussed it openly. They talked about, hey, the mainstream press, again, the Daily Beast is talking about it. But here's a problem with the Daily Beast coverage, by the way. The Daily Beast's writer, could they go hard at Eliza Blue? Yeah. In fact, maybe they will, because her own identity these days, I'm talking about, saying that you're attached to Elon, you're conservative, all of that may bring in someone like the Daily Beast to do a hit piece on you. That's possible. And that hit piece may have 95% truth, 100% truth, but it'll add in. One of the things I don't like about that, like when I call it a hit piece, this is what I mean. When they go in and they go after you, they go in for the specific connotation of denouncing you as a Yahtzee, or denouncing you, for your voting. And that is a hit piece, not talking about your past and everything being a lie, but being openly endorsing a hit piece. And maybe they'll do that. But the problem is, the writer of that has also bailed out many a fraud in the past. Many a fraud. The pieces on this thing, too, they've been interesting to watch come together. I mean, when you look at the Bounding into Comics, at least they made a record. This is one thing I have to give them, and I'm hoping it picks them up. In fact, if you haven't checked this out, look up Bounding into Comics. Give this thing some traffic. Okay, share it around. Because at least they had the stones to put something together. All these other places, I've called them out too. All these places are frauds. I don't care which side. I don't care if it's CNN, Fox, any of these fools. They're all frauds. They're all phonies, fakes. They come out. They'll argue over the proper way to chew bubble gum. How long should you put toast in your toaster? I mean, they would argue over stuff like that. They would, but they won't cover this. I think it's because, like I said, I think on the CNN liberal media side, I think it's because they're afraid to encounter. They're afraid to go against listen and believe. They can't. That's their narrative. They have to stick to it. That's their gun. On the other side, the embracing. I don't know if it's the embracing of a politician label. I don't know if it's the embracing of Elon Musk. I don't know if it's a perfect storm of many of those things, but for whatever reason, everyone is silent. It's unreal, to see this. This is what happened we saw the same thing. People are surprised that this can happen, but we talked about this quite a bit when we covered the Depp Heard situation. Before that trial, there were no positive articles that came out about Johnny Depp, ever. They weren't allowed. And the people that were doing that, well, you know full well how that goes. What's up, Britt Dreadnought? Thanks for the 5. She's a social chameleon. She gives herself whatever label is useful at the time, whether that be victim, conservative, anarchist, etc. Indeed, it is. I like the clout goblin, the clout chameleon. What's up, R&R? Okay, we're going to do something real fast. I like this too. So Rock and Ruin has sponsored a comic giveaway. We're adding, by the way, 2 weeks to the development. We should be done on Valentine's Day. About health problems, so it slowed us down for about 2 weeks. My artist SK says we can have everything on ready to print by Valentine's, so we should be good. I mean, we're so close, but anyway. So we're giving away a set of comic books. They'll deliver, they'll ship with everything else. All you got to do to win in the comments is type RNR, Rock and Ruin, RNR. Type it a lot. If it pulls it up or it holds it, I can see you typing it. So I'm going to count down from 5. It'll look like chaos. I'll pick somebody out, and you can mail me, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So 5, 4, 3, Mr. 2, 1. And a 0. Let me see. Who is? Hey, Stacy D. What's up, Stacy D? So hit me up. All you got to do is email me. You email me at granularheaven@gmail.com. Why the stupid email? I don't remember. I don't remember. It has been forever. But if you forget it for some reason, look on the front page. Anybody can mail me to. I may not answer you on everything, but you're free to email or do whatever. I also got a request for a P.O. box. I do have a P.O. box. I'll note that in a minute as well. But on this, I just want to go over this real quick. I don't want to hit it all. And I do want to put on record one other thing we didn't do yesterday. Actually, two things. I want to put on record her redefining what trafficking is. I want to show you the Red State article that got pulled because I did not put that up there. Those two things are very important to get in here. So, but just to give it a scan, again, look up Bounding into Comics, give this article traction because they were the only one that had these stones to go out and put this out there first. Them and Pop Topic. They're the two places that put this stuff together. And you'll notice, again, you can see everything that's gone on, you know. So it's a lot. You see all the weird this new remedy for belly fat mimics surgery. But no, give them some love. I even have no ad blocker on for that one. Giving them some love for it. But also, like I said, there's the Red State article. So the Red State article, what I find fascinating about this, again, they decided that they needed to ghost the article yesterday. We have no idea why they did it. There are people talking about how they may have gotten a cease and desist. Again, she hasn't had the stones to come out and cease and desist any of us. You know, I haven't gotten one. I did yesterday. I did say this. So I got a call. Like I said, until I see paperwork, I consider it a troll. All right. But I got a call telling me that somebody that I had talked about that was connected to this stuff, I was told that somebody representing a law firm was telling me, you know, they were telling me that I was going to get a cease and desist. And I was like, cool, send it. You know, send it to my P.O. box, please. I will fight it too, because all this stuff, it's all public record. There's nothing in here. And again, I live in Tennessee. You may think that you can shut me down, but our anti-SLAPP laws are strong here. Somebody sues me, I'll do a GoFundMe. I will fight. I will always fight because I haven't done anything wrong. But I won't be intimidated into pulling down articles and shit. Like, fuck that, or videos or whatever. Fuck that, man. Forget that stuff. I mean, if that's actually what happened, and if somebody like Brittany Venti or the Quartering or Yellow Flash gets sued, first of all, like I said, if they get sued, they would probably be cease and desists first. But you know what's crazy about that? The threat of that, it doesn't even make sense because there is no legal leg to stand on, as it were. You may be able to get into litigation with WorldStar or something else, depending on what comes up. But as far as people talking about that, nah, you don't have any leg to stand on. And in places like Tennessee, we have some of the most stringent anti-SLAPP laws there are. So good luck. Good luck with that. And I'll fucking stand my ground on it. I'm not going to be intimidated. I'm not going to be intimidated by any of these people because you're not spreading any kind of false rumor or allegation. We're talking about what's there. And we've talked about there are videos, articles, everything that backs up what is said. And we're, you know, I mean, it's all there and it's in this person's words. But I wondered another thing. You know, I found it interesting that the same day that Red State decided to pull down their article, the guy who actually started the discussion, you know, the one who Defengo, he got banned. So the guy who, you know, let me be clear when I say this too. You know, he was banned yesterday. I talked about that at the stream, but he may not have been the first person to talk about this. He's the first person I noticed talk about it, and everybody else did. And you know why we noticed that? Because he put together a comprehensive thread, not pieces dangling here and there, comprehensive thread on it. What's up, Camelot? My band friend. What's going on, Cam? Thanks for the 10. Weekly tug and fug. Indeed, indeed. Love you, brother. Love you. You know what's interesting with the Camelot thing is that Camelot got hit for an item that he linked not that day, not a day later, but he got hit and he got his ban on Twitter for what, a week after the fact. So I'm having to pull up the chat again. My phone just died. So give me 1 second. I'm pulling y'all up. I like to see what you all are talking about. All right, so let's look at this just really quick because I didn't put this on record, and then I want to show you again her redefining what trafficking is. So, activist Eliza Blue cancels creators, appears to ramp up Twitter censorship. Now they tell you she canceled, so this goes from this to them pulling it down. Wasn't that fascinating? Now, on top of that, actually, let me pull up one other thing besides this. I want to look at something side by side with it. I want to pull up 3 articles, okay? If I robot for a second, I apologize, but they may have a lot of ads on this crap. Now, I want to show you something, okay? One thing that hit me right off the bat about this article. Check this out. So, the article, I'm gonna pull up 3 articles here just to show you this. You see this? They did a disclaimer on this article, right? Now, I got curious about the disclaimer, and I wondered, is this typical? And the answer is absolutely not. Absolutely not. Can I check how many followers? Sure. Yeah, I'll check it in just a second. Remind me toward the end of this, and I'll do that. See, if you look at other articles, so they do political articles. Again, they are a political place. So just a note, don't care what the article is, but look, no disclaimers, right? I thought, okay, maybe that's a one-off, right? So I checked other articles, and you know what I kept finding over and over again? There were no disclaimers on this site. See? It's the only article. They had to denounce the thing from Go anyway when they did it. They decided to denounce it from Go. So I thought that was fascinating. It looked like they were uncomfortable writing it to begin with. And that's because, this person has a lot of heavy political clout. They also, again, they have the Twitter clout. A lot of places are, I'm telling you, like, people are afraid to talk about Elon Musk. They're afraid they'll lose their place in line, their place at the trough. They're afraid they'll get shadow banned again. Oh, man. Living in fear ain't living, man. If you have to bend the knee to somebody in order to do that, why do it? Like, that's why nobody trusts the media anymore. That's why people like say Recato Law talks about political topics, for example. Salty Cracker, people like that, they talk about them. People talk about police interactions, like Donut Operator. I saw him today. You have so many folks that are trusted. Props to Donut too. He actually responded to a Timcast thing, and he was asking a Timcast was like, I think Twitter's failing or something like that. And Donut Operator, if you don't know who he is, he's huge online. He's funny, but he does like police breakdowns and firearm breakdowns and stuff. And he's funny. He's a good guy. Like I've seen him interact. I've seen him do good things for other people. But so you had Timcast. Actually, let me show you this interaction real fast, and then we'll continue, because I thought this was funny because Donut Operator brings like a lot of eyes to this stuff too. But Tim Pool, he deleted all of these other comments that he did about this stuff, but he was like, Twitter feels like it's dying. Yeah. I noticed that when he does stuff, maybe they're afraid to lose this. See, like when I post, right now. Oh, I got to show you my analytics. Twitter is definitely doing something jacked up with their analytics. So I talked about it yesterday. The gains that I made on the subscribers, I've gained over 1,000 subscribers off of this, right? They note me as losing 591 subscribers on the month, which is absolutely unreal. I've been actually in the positive for the month. I did offend people about 6 weeks ago, so I had to bleed off of about 800. I do that. I don't know when to keep my mouth shut. If I think something about Elon, I'll say it, and that makes people mad. Or I'll make fun of both political parties. It just depends. I'll make fun of whatever I feel like making fun. I don't give a shit. But um, I'm in the positives, and yet their analytics are so jacked up. And like I said, I'll show you that at the end too. I forgot to bring that up, but you see Donut Operator coming in, and he's like, really? I feel like it's working great. What's going on for you? Now, some people were like, maybe he's trolling here. And that's possible. Maybe he's trolling. I don't know. Maybe he's goofing off. But I commented on that. There's some man, you should read the comments under that. You want to see some like Elon Musk simpery. Ooh, man. And I'm not talking like if you disagree my comments, that's not what I mean. What I mean is people, when I'll comment about Elon, they'll be like, oh, you got to give Elon a chance. I'm like, okay, when hasn't he had a chance? He just now took over. He can't right the world in a minute. I was like, but you gave him credit for unbanning people, right? Yeah. So you don't give him credit for the negatives, just the positives. When it's his new people, well, maybe it's a remnant. Maybe there's remnants of old Twitter that are banning people. It's his new trust and safety head that's doing it. It's like, you don't know that. They came out and made statements about it. It's like, oh my God, are you kidding me? That's why I love Twitter, though. It's like, it's like just rude and mean. I love it. What's up, Stacy D? Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships, by the way. Thank you sincerely for that. I appreciate it. Very much I appreciate that. Furby Slayer. No, not the Furbies. They replaced Lenin with Stalin. That's what we got. Indeed. So when you look at this, though, they actually came out. Again, they made it political. They brought up, the Daily Wire and Steven Crowder, so they brought that in. But look at what they say. And maybe Elon didn't like this, and maybe he contacted him. Who knows? Like I said, I don't know. But something happened because they pulled it, and the writer of this confirmed that it was unpublished. But we don't know why. But if you look at it, Twitter is in the middle of another censorship scandal that may be returning to the supposed free speech platform back to its Twitter version 1.0 of the pre-Elon Musk era. So, I mean, you see that first statement, it's like, oh, then they go through, they talk about Eliza, they talk about her statements, she's who she is, all of this brought up. They talk about her discussing the photograph, Twitter community, what people actually added to her statement. They talk about, the world star hip hop. They quote many people, including, again, I thought it was interesting, Defango. The day this gets pulled down, Defango got banned. It felt very, weird to watch, how it played out. Because again, Defango was, I mean, he was unfairly banned for sure. He was targeted for sure in that. They also quoted Andy NGO saying, hey, this is wrong. There shouldn't be censorship on that. And they also talked about other people being told they had to remove 20 tweets in order to regain 20 tweets, 20 of them. And they weren't all this one link that was coming up, but they talked about, the problems here. They discussed it. They discussed what happened. And they talked about too, how Eliza Blue has claimed to be a free speech advocate here. Really, and a free speech absolutist, I would take from this statement. I want to be crystal clear. I'll die on the hill of free speech in America. The government cannot remove it. You know, I mean, you see the statement. Free speech is an inalienable human right, with or without both the government or the WEF. Again, we've gone from that to, yeah. So again, they bring up all of this and then they ghost the article. And I thought that was fascinating. And I don't blame, again, I'd like to know why. I would not blame the writer. The writer wrote a good article. They apparently wrote it in spite of the platform. In fact, I'm sure that they could get that article published somewhere else if they'd like that. I'm sure there are other places that would definitely publish it. In fact, I would encourage anybody that's running an independent outlet to cover this stuff. Again, this is how you get noticed. You want to know how you insert yourself. I see so many independents that try to make their way, try to get noticed in stuff. And the way you do it is the way that Bounding into Comics has done it. You talk about stuff that is inconvenient for other people to talk about because for whatever reason they can't discuss it. You make sure, because you know what? You are beholden to no one. You don't have the red tape, as it were, of party politicking or any other crap. You can cover whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. You can offend whatever you want. It's golden. It's beautiful, and we need to live like that. We need to be able to go out and discuss these things that transpire. Because again, answering questions like that's what we're told that the media does. That's what we've been told there. But in reality, wait, has this place have they been struck too? Holy shit, here's another account that went down. Oh, hey, what's up, Grifty? I want to give you a shout out too. What's up, Grifty? I was trying to think. I was like, somebody else. I want to follow them for sure. What's up? Hey, Tug, thanks for the follow. The 20 person was me. That's how I ended up in the middle of it. That was you. Yeah, I couldn't remember. I followed you because you had good, you were informed on all of this. You were talking about that stuff. I found somebody else that's been banned, and maybe I knew this, maybe I didn't, but the person that so somebody posted about Eliza Blue discussing World Star. Here, check this out. This is one of their, I told you, they're going backwards and scrubbing it. So this was my comment to this person here. Eliza Blue talks about World Star, the place she struck, saying they were non-consensual. Yeah, this shows she lied. Look, it's gone. The account has been suspended. It's missing because when you check the account, it's gone. That's what's happening. Accounts are being ghosted, not for the link, not for pictures associated with it, but showing that she lied. People are being banned because they're showing that she lied. I mean, holy crap. Like, it's insane to see this stuff. I'm going to have to pull up another thing through. Chrissy Mayer has shut down her or locked down her account too. I'm wondering, is she getting a lot of BS because of this subject? I mean, I'm curious. I'm always curious when people are doing that. I'm rolling back to find something. And when I'm doing that, I'm noticing people that I've sourced in this. This is why I'm putting together live streams talking about this. And I'm trying to leave them open for you because people are actively being banned for discussing this stuff. I mean, they're actively being taken down. So here, though, is the interview. I want to show you this where she redefines trafficking. Again, she defines it. And I'm going to put this on record in case it gets pulled down. But she defines it as, well, I'll just let you hear. Because this is crazy. This is one of the craziest things I've heard. So listen to this here. Give me a second. Here we are.
I was trafficked on Twitter as well. So there's been 3 profiles to my knowledge.
Wait a minute. I got to switch my sound over. My bad. Give me 1 second. That's not it's coming through my speakers for some reason. Give me 1 second. Let me check my sound. It's like, no, we work for Twitter too. No, not my speakers. Not my speakers. Betrayal. Let me see if this works now. Okay, better, fixed. All right, so check this out. Because like I said, I want to put this on record. And this is in a newer interview. This happened just in the last couple of months. I mean, again, this isn't something old. So check this out, though.
I was trafficked on Twitter as well.
I was trafficked on Twitter.
There's been 3 profiles to my knowledge that my former abusers made to traffic me on Twitter. I didn't realize because I kind of just signed up for Twitter in late 2019.
Okay, so that's a lie right there. Actually, there's another video. I have put it into another live stream, but she herself shouted out in 2012. This is on her YouTube, unless she pulled it down. She actually talks about, hey, go and subscribe to my my YouTube channel. So she had, I think it was Eliza Siep, SIEP, that she had that in 2012. She was advertising Eliza Cuts, which is a different name. She was advertising that in 2015. But she's telling Michael Malice here in this interview where she's saying, hey, I was Twitter trafficked and I didn't know how bad it was. Why? Because I didn't sign up until 2019. Yeah.
So it was like one of the last few days of 2019. I signed up for Twitter.
But what does that mean that they trafficked you on Twitter? How can someone traffic you if they're not in contact with you?
Yeah, so the way that was working, I didn't know about the profiles existing because I wasn't on Twitter and I wasn't looking for them. The way that my former abusers were doing it is that it was going back to my Instagram. The Twitter accounts were linking back to my Instagram and they were trafficking me off Instagram, Backpage, sugar daddy websites. I mean, whatever type of internet trafficking is what was happening. I'll go into more detail. So it looks like a profile. In my particular case, the profiles look like profiles that would be me, but trying to entice business to sell me, bringing it back to my Instagram where they were doing business. Fortunately, in my particular...
So either, best case scenario, catfishing, pretending to be someone else. Worst case scenario, identity theft. I mean, I think that's a stretch to call that identity theft. I would call that catfishing. Right. Somebody using the picture of a female to entice people to, to get in there and do whatever. I mean, that's pretty much what we talk about. So, yeah.
Particular case, there are no nude images or videos of me on Twitter. Thank God, right now. The day is young, I guess. But it would go back to my Instagram and that's how they would traffic me, sell me without my full consent and without my knowledge. When I joined Twitter, an ex-boyfriend actually pointed out the first profile. After I reported it to Twitter, it took them 3.5 months to take it down. The second profile took 5 days. They actually took it while I was on my way to they took it down while I was on my way to do my interview with Tim Cast. And then the third profile, the platform has refused to take down.
So you notice this. This is also new. So she's actually denouncing Twitter now because she's denouncing Twitter and Elon. Elon, somebody was talking about this. Again, I want to see a screenshot of it, but they were saying that Elon Musk unfollowed her. If that's true, that's fascinating, right? But she's denouncing Elon Musk's Twitter. I love how they're doing all this damage control for her, considering she just said that you guys were trafficking her. Like you're part of it, right? I mean, you weren't responding to her being trafficked. And this was when she was going to go on with Tim Cast. So we have a date on this. This is new stuff. We're talking about right before all of this stuff pops off. A couple of weeks before. This was when Andrew Tate had just gotten big. And she was the one going and doing rounds saying that she represented the survivors. Although it was interesting, all she's really put out are 2 press statements that had nothing to really do with claims. Maybe that's a legal thing. You can tell they have lawyers involved. But her statement was the thing that she highlighted. Like her statements about Andrew Tate, and she is his main detractor or his main accuser, but she's not accusing him saying he did something to her. I want to make that very clear too. She's in somehow, some way working alongside the law offices that are putting together. I think, we're going to see civil litigation against Andrew Tate. We're not just going to see criminal. We're going to see civil. That, it has the earmarks of it, and she's working with that, whatever. And again, that has nothing to do with Andrew Tate. Like I said, that just puts a date on it. It's definitive there.
Okay, so I don't understand. So
he's confused too. You notice Michael Malice is like, what the hell does that mean? What is Twitter trafficked? Like, we'll look at the definition of human trafficking in a second. So what is this thing? She's redefining trafficking.
Someone creates a fake profile of you. There's photographs of you. How are they monetizing this? How is Twitter getting a cut? Like what's literally happening?
Yes. So Twitter cut off all of our Twitters based off advertising sales and data sales. So any profile that's on Twitter, they get a cut of it. So they can say to Pepsi, Coca-Cola, whomever they're doing business with, we have this many active users on our platform.
Again, a denouncement of Elon Musk and Elon Musk Twitter. I hope it's worth it, Elon. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you enjoy the trash fire, because again, they just denounced that, and vicariously, they not only denounced that because you are Twitter, but they denounced your head of trust and safety and everything else. All the people simping for it right now.
So in essence, you and I are definitely making them money. When it's a free platform, we are the product.
But how are these people who are using your images making money themselves?
He looks so confused. Like, look at him. He's like, wait, what? What is going on? Like, what are you telling me here?
So, right, it would depend. So my trafficking situation is going to be a little bit different than what we're going to talk about with the children. So in my particular case, they're impersonation profiles that would have led back to them selling me to do business. So they would lure somebody in with the profile, like, oh, this is a pretty girl, blah, blah, blah. Because I mean, it's been a while that I've had the opportunity.
Grifty. Elon has unsubbed, confirmed, by the way. Grifty notes. Grifty has been on top of this stuff too. So that's amazing. Like I said, but it's the same thing. Again, Elon and the ladies, like he said, again, high profile. One of the reasons I don't trust him. Amber Heard, I don't trust him because of her. Look at all the high profile shit that went on with that. And at a certain point, you get the feeling that he cut bait and whatever happened, you could see that to a point. He was still doing damage control, though. What was fascinating is, so with the man was, when Grimes was delivering his child, I just want you to think about this, okay? Grimes is delivering his kid. He is at the hospital. There are pictures of him in the hospital. He is on his phone, and he's talking about how he wants to cage fight Johnny Depp while his child is being delivered. Like, that's, wow. Wow, what? I can't even imagine. Sumo Orange, thanks for the 2. Who else hates that tiara? There's so much. There's a lot of attention-seeking behavior. And again, here's the problem with people like this. Attention-seeking behavior and the abnormal, like not typical behavior that comes from survivors. Sometimes survivors will adopt props, anything to make themselves comfortable. They have, for myself, I'm not saying I'm a survivor, but just for myself, for social, for example, I hate going out. I hate dealing with a lot of noise. I hate it. Like if I go to a restaurant, I hate the sounds. I wear headphones all the time. I don't even turn them on most of the time. But if you look at any picture, like if you look at pictures from Anime Matsuri, where I was there with things on, you'll notice I have headphones on almost all the time. When I'm talking to people, obviously can't be on, but I have them on. So you'll have atypical behavior manifest. But unfortunately, you see that same type of behavior showcased from attention seekers as well. And sometimes it's even worse than that, depending on what type of person that is. Maybe they take that behavior from someone where they saw that behavior, that atypical behavior. They took it and use it as a prop because it adds more props to their story. I mean, you just never know. Simo Orange, thanks for two. She's dangerous. This is beyond free speech. It is like this is it's the redefining of speech. I mean, we always laugh about 1984, right? We always talk about, Big Brother, and we laugh about the re-engineering of language. That is a warning. That is what 1984 was supposed to be about. It is a damn warning about this kind of stuff because words have power. That's one reason. That's what pulled me into fights like this. When people are being like Vic Mignogna, for example, when he was called a pedophile because he is at a convention, somebody pays him money and he hugs them or gives them a kiss on a cheek. That word means something. That word means something terrible. And trying to associate it with behaviors that are normal behaviors, trying to associate that with something or redefine it, re-engineer language it's dangerous. It is. So yeah, I mean, it goes beyond free speech, and it goes beyond anything else that attached to that too. It also goes into the fact if a person, it's the same question that you end up with someone like an Amber Heard. Attention seekers, where will they stop? See, a lot of people are like, well, if you ignore people, they'll go away. No, there's a certain brand of people that works with, but people that want validation, they want attention. You can't just walk away from them. That's not how it works because they have to be the spotlight. They're not attention seekers. If you look at, again, you can't remote diagnose someone, so I'm not saying this applies, but if you look at the personalities that were discussed during trial with Depp versus Heard, that personality profile has to be the center of attention. It's not a attention seeker. It is a must. And the escalation, it knows no end. So, and that's particularly dangerous to anyone that's around them too, because they're, when they're in the circles of like a Musk or Twitter safety, they know secrets. They know things that they can burn people for.
Need to be free. So it's not like it's still happening.
Sure, right.
But they would lure somebody in, direct the business back to, I'm assuming, either a dating profile or
catfishing.
Kind of like when you see folks saying, oh, click this for my nudes or whatever, they would send them back to my Instagram or other profiles, platforms, I guess, who knows? Because I can't see inside the DMs. So I don't know what's going inside on the DMs on the back end. But I have been able with an organization to sort of track some of the use of these profiles and some of the communication back with the other profiles, and it's really scary. So it would be someone that they would contact to do some type of business and then take it somewhere else. Now, what does scare me about those profiles still being active is that my abusers are still free. So they could be using my image to
Again, when she says my abusers, people were like, they were giving her the benefit of the doubt too. They were like, well, is she talking about people that did this stuff before? Well, that's not what she said. My abusers are still free. Oh, you mean the people that catfished? They're like, oh, maybe it's the people that, well, maybe, possibly. How much benefit of the doubt do you give before you're like, whoa, they've clarified that this did not happen with them? So, hey, Shay, what's up? Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Tugs Thugs, by the way. Appreciate you. Thank you. Jonesy, thanks for the 10. I've searched everywhere and still cannot find her actual story. Has anyone found her actual trafficking story? There has to be something that catapulted her to trafficking advocate, shouldn't there? Well, she has a little bit of a story that she put out. She's put out claims here and there. That's where they're not complete stories by any stretch of the imagination, but that's where the date thing comes in. She's given different dates And one of these dates, like the one that she stuck with, was she was saying this happened around 2007. That's where one of the biggest kickoffs to controversy started, because in 2007, it is very well documented. Defengo actually, had firsthand knowledge as well. But he's like, she was a My Chemical Romance groupie, for lack of a better word. She documented her entire life at the time, and you can't be trafficked. It's nice. She actually put out videos at the time too, and this was a point I tried to make, and I don't think I clarified this very well. She put out a video. Well, she did an interview, rather. I can't remember the place she did an interview with, but she said that she turned down $150,000 to have sex with somebody. That's pretty nice of her traffickers, right? Oh, somebody offered you $150,000 and you're a trafficker? Let you turn down that money? Wait, what? That doesn't work, does it? That's not how trafficking works. Your trafficker would be like, yeah, that ain't happening. They don't give you a choice. Dreadnought, thanks for the 5. We need to write a folklore book about the dangers of cloud goblins and how to ward them off and protect against them. That would be funny. That's what Dead Punk Gage could probably make a hilarious book about cloud goblins, like a short story. Fixed Doll, thanks for the 10 there. People like her and AH, no real victims and survivors, don't have platforms they have so they can make ish up. And they go and use survivors as their platform to stand on. Indeed, and they use them as shields. Because in this day and age, you're not supposed to question these folks. I get tired of that too. And again, I want to make a very important distinction in there. If you came out like when first Me Too came out, and people were like, "Yo, I was abused." Okay, you in those moments, maybe you need help. Maybe you need somebody to be like, yo, it's okay. That's fine. When you start building up to the point you have hundreds of thousands of people following you, you're just saying, you're an advocate, you have a background that, like Brittany Venti was asking about her background, I don't think because of the oddity that was there as far as background. She can correct this because, again, her stance has been pornography wrong because of trafficking. She labels herself a trafficking advocate. She believes that the industry itself is broken, that there's so many different things that are wrong in that. And she was asking, how do these two things fit up? And she was also saying, how does this fit up with trafficking? Are you saying that when you were doing this, you were trafficked through coercion? I don't know if you've ever answered that. She was actually kind of nice about it. She was just like, I don't understand. And that's when the banning started. So questions in this day and age, and people applaud that shit. Like, that's the disgusting thing to me. You're not allowed to ask questions anymore. We're not talking about, Joe or Jill out there that has talked about their survival, that they went through something. Like if they went out and they said, yeah, something happened to me. Again, I don't want a question. I don't want that. But when people gain money, like she's done GoFundMe's, she's GoFunded a vacation out of her advocacy. I mean, again, at what point did simple questions, like explaining your stance as somebody that's saying that, part of what was being discussed by Brittany Venti was how does this intersect with your stance on trafficking? Like, what does this mean? And frankly, I don't give a shit. Like some people are mean about the background. They don't think that you can be one or the other. Everybody has a background. And again, as I've said before, these tug jugs, they would definitely jiggle if I got it. If I can make if I can make money in a low cut dress, yeah, I might go that route myself. I'm not judging anybody for that. You do your thing, it's your business. It ain't my business how you make your money. And it really doesn't impact the fact that you could be an advocate. But when your date and your time, they don't intersect, and all these other questions come up, and you start talking about fucking being trafficked on Twitter. Yeah, people can ask questions, Bessie Knox, thanks for the 5. I guess she didn't understand the difference between taking your picture and somebody actually taking you and using you as a victim in a certain way. I mean, I don't know. Let's finish this though. Let me
Contact survivors that are already more vulnerable, of course, for trafficking or abuse. They could be using those profiles to traffic other women. That's the truth.
How are they using it to traffic other? Are they saying befriend me and walk down? Now, I did see something weird from a scammer one time. I made a joke video about. I called an account Johnny Derp because it was a fake Johnny Depp, and it was asking people, was like, "Hey, baby, I'm going to come and visit you. All I need is some iTunes cards." It's like Johnny Derp needs your iTunes cards. It was funny, but there was a part in there where they were asking about, what do you think about stuff like, again, I can't remember the exact wording, but trafficking essentially. Now, yeah, somebody could potentially maybe befriend you, but that's not you being trafficked. Now, if you had a problem with someone else misusing that, okay, that's fine, but that's not what was said. Like, that's again, it was, you monetize my imagery and catfish people, and I have a problem.
They didn't stop.
So
when they lost me, they didn't stop.
So this is a kind of identity theft kind of situation, but instead of getting a credit card in your name, they're basically saying, I'm you. I'm also known as this. Come talk to me. Or in the alternative, instead of being some kind of vague positive thing, like I'm going to be your friend, it's that you want to see sexy pictures of me, come join this site. And you're basically being an unpaid spokeswoman for whatever nefarious organization or person this is.
Okay, so you get whoops, I didn't mean to do that, but you get the picture there. Now I want to pull up what trafficking actually means too. Give me 1 second on that. Travis, thanks for the 5. So if she did a GoFundMe based off being trafficked and a victim, and being that it's all a lie, can she be faced charges for fraud? She did it off of advocacy. Now, I don't know how much her story worked into that or anything. That would be an interesting question. And I believe Fair and Balance she's doing a 3-part, or she's doing an expose of about 3 hours, interviews and everything else. So I think you're going to get into some nitty gritty details about all of that. That's where it's going to get interesting. And that's where you're going to have some legal questions come up, I think. Mystified. What's up, Mystified? Thanks for the 10. I don't know what happened, but I just checked and my shadow ban's lifted. It's probably, have you talked about? So Mystified got hit for sharing a link to an interview. Interviews like this. This is what people are getting banned for. This is what pisses me off about this, because people are framing it as if there was one link to a World Star video and people were forced to take that down. That is incorrect. People are being banned for making jokes. They're making the Eliza Murphy jokes. You know, that picture of her with the Jack. Give me a second. Let me pull this up. Some people may not know what I'm talking about here. So the quartering, this is what I was wondering with the quartering. I was wondering if the quartering might actually get hit for posting about the Eliza Blue stuff yesterday, because he not only posted about Eliza Blue, but he put in the Eliza Murphy picture, and there have been live streams taken down, all kinds of stuff, because of, when I say taken down, I mean on Twitter, not from YouTube. But this picture right here has gotten people banned. This picture. So making a joke about somebody, saying they're essentially a grifter, like someone that came before. That's getting people banned. That should be troubling to everyone. And again, I mean, we're talking, Vilnet again. Let me see if I can send this to myself. Maybe Vilnet does. Posted this recently. Let me see if I can find it real fast. They were forced again to take down a link that they had put up. And again, this link had nothing to do whatsoever with what's supposedly the issue at hand. That's what really disturbs me about this. Like I said, people are thinking that this is just an argument about whether or not that link there from WorldStar, that was the issue. And that's not. That's actually, again, it's not. It's not at all. It's about other things that have been hit too. And it's disturbing because I know a lot of the people that are being hit, because most of us come from a don't tell me what to do kind of stance with culture. I'm like that. I don't like being told that I can't talk about something. I don't like being told that I'm not allowed to ask questions. I mean, that's absolute trash. It's absolute trash. And again, I cannot find their thing, but they were. I'll have to pull it up. It's on my phone, like I said. So I guess I'll have to pull that up from. I'll post it. I'll actually post it on Twitter. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up this definition of trafficking, since they were telling us what trafficking means, right? Let's go with the real definition of trafficking. This is human trafficking from DHS. What is human trafficking? So the one thing you have to understand in trafficking is the human element. It is either the harboring or the reception of humans. When you look through human trafficking, again, you don't get human traffic from Twitter. That just doesn't happen, because it has to have a person. I mean, again, you could define this as something else, but the definition of this, again, when you're looking through it, I think it's an insult to people to say that stuff is human trafficking, because people who have been trafficked, I mean, holy crap. Beautifully, JD, thanks for the 2. Check DMs. Fair and balance went off. I'll check that then. Let me see this. I got to check real fast. Give me a second. I got to stop sharing. I want to see what fair and balance. I mean, Farron's been all over this story, and she's done a good job, a very good job in covering all of this. So Farron went off for, I'm not so I'll have to watch the live stream and see what all is in there. Here's another thing that came up. So we're talking about, this is a brand new thing too. I want to bring this up because I think that this is one other important aspect that nobody has really discussed. What if I were to tell you that our trafficking advocate here believes in the reduction of, if they had a utopian society, that they wouldn't mind consent being lowered to, say, 13? Does that seem to fit into trafficking, would you say? Does that seem to be counterintuitive? Because there's a video. So they used to run a... give me 1 minute here. I got to pull this up. So they used to run a podcast where they would talk about, trafficking and whatnot. And this clip is pretty weird and crazy. I'm going to show you this here. Hey, Mazza, thanks for the 10. To be an advocate is to spread awareness and what to look out for, etc. But she won't share her story with people. It makes no sense. You'd be sharing the experience and warnings if you chose advocacy after. Well, she keeps bringing up, hey, my story. Hey, what's your story? I'm not going to talk about that. It's like, wait a minute, Gil, thanks for the 2. Thanks for the assist yesterday. Much appreciated. Hey, no problem with that, my friend. No problem. Also, let me note, maybe some of you know Eagle Rider that comes to chat. She had a medical issue yesterday, a serious medical issue. Thankfully, she is recuperating right now, but keep her in your thoughts for sure. Prayers, whatever. Whatever you believe there, sending out something positive, because it's that's scary stuff. I know it's horrible. BR17, thanks for doing. Divinity said has a 5-minute clip on Farron. Divinity said, is that a new clip, by the way? BR17, is that the newest thing that happened? Let me pull this right here. So listen to this. I want you to really drink in this statement, okay?
Certainly acknowledge that there are many people who are 13, 14, 15 that have sex with an adult and then feel as if they were taken advantage of too.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, so let's focus on the worst.
Yeah,
Okay, so let's pretend like we all have our like utopia. So if I could answer this in utopia, right? In my like perfect ANCAP utopia, each community and each so it'd be each caregiver, parent, and community, including teachers, potential faith leaders, and neighbors, will decide if the child is ready to consent and look at the child's behavior. Do they have a job? How is their education going? Are they cognitively available to have sex with this individual? And then also look at the history of the individual as well. So does this individual have a history of abuse?
Yep.
And then you go from there.
Certainly acknowledge that there are many.
Did you catch that? So in their utopian society, they would allow people to go through their background, et cetera, and decide consent. So the consent for our advocate here, the question again, at the beginning, if you listen to how it reads in.
Certainly acknowledge that there are many people who are 13, 14, 15 that have sex with an adult and then feel as if they were taken advantage of too.
So they brought up 13, 14, 15. And they're like, well, in my perfect world, And it's like, wait a minute. Children are having, it's a discussion about with adults. So that wasn't a discussion of, a teen and a teen. That was a discussion of a 13-year-old and an adult. And it becomes a discussion of, well, in my perfect utopian society, And I'm like, wait, what? That's weird. That's very weird. Yeah, I see the clip there. Apparently, I have to watch it, see what's there. So she's streaming, apologizing to the quartering now. This is in there. I like Farron. This is a byproduct of being online all the time. Just to be honest, when people live stream their lives, this is what happens. I mean, honestly, like when you do things in the moment, you express your emotion. That's one of the things I try not to ever live stream when I'm angry at somebody online. If I'm angry about a situation, that's okay. But if I'm angry, I've been angry at every person. Well, I mean, I've had my moments with anybody, like major streamers. There's things that go on that people may not know about, this and that. And I try not to stream when I'm angry with streamers. Now, I'm not saying that I mean, we're fallible. We're human beings. The downside to that kind of stuff is that it detracts from what you're trying to do, Like that's the one thing, like with the Tim Pool mess. At first I avoided a lot of the Tim Pool. Like I said, I don't know Tim Pool pro and con. I don't know that guy from Adam, and I don't really care to be honest. Yes, he has a giant platform. They're like, oh man, you get on a platform like that and talk about X, Y, or Z. Yeah, I take the same stance I do with the mainstream media. You could do that with the mainstream media. I don't want to talk to the mainstream media, But today, again, seeing the conversation come up, hey, do you want us to cover this? Then finding out they had a writer embedded with Eliza Blue. They were denouncing other people. And I mean, it's just, that's weird and strange. They deleted all of it, and they were one of the people that built up Eliza Blue. I think that's a legitimate concern there. But whatever's going on with very balance and pouring, I forgot I'm fine. But it is a byproduct. It's also a byproduct of becoming part of your story. I can't say that I'm above that. I try to remember. One of the things that helps me remember this is my face isn't on this thing. When I look at me talking, I see a giant fucking pickle talking. So it helps with any kind of ego. You know, that's a beautiful ego check. Every time you look up, there's an avatar that's not a person. It's a cartoon or whatever, and it checks ego. Because I mean, really, what the fuck? You know, I'm a giant pickle. Yeah. But I mean, people do. They get in that. They get their feelings hurt for something if they don't feel like people appreciate stuff. I mean, it's all kinds of things. At the end of the day, though, I think that Fair and Balanced knows this story better than anyone right now. I think that they also, a lot of the information that's coming up, they broke it. And that is that is sometimes a problem. I will say that sometimes when you find things, like, I will take things that other people have found and I'll repost. I don't know where they come from. I may have 30 people send me the same thing that you posted. You may be the original poster of it, but I may not know that. If I do, I share it. You know, you'll see I share stuff on Twitter, or I bring it up, like we brought up the quartering stuff. But you know, sometimes people will just grab something and take all your work and take credit for it, and that pisses people off too. So I try to remember that when I'm doing stuff, if I have something that I know is big, I will cover it myself before I fucking put it somewhere or tell anybody else about it. You know, I'll cover it myself because I know the story. I know how it comes together in that. But like I said, I don't know what's going on there, but it's usually something like that. It's usually something about somebody feels like it was part of their story. They've somehow connected themselves intrinsically with what they're covering. I mean, people spend hours and hours, days. I mean, like, you know, for Amber Heard coverage, for example, I mean, I was spending 4 hours easily a day on top of my regular job, and that was just baseline easily, you know, for stuff. But there were a lot of other people that were doing it too. I was covering what they had to say too. I understand why people get that way. People make mistakes. I don't know, but I don't know what the situation is with that. Oh man. She claimed Gerard Way trafficked and abused her. That's one of the claims. So under the Eliza Cuts, if you look up Eliza Cuts, the name, that's before Eliza Blue. That was the name that she was using back when. And there's a lot of stuff that surrounds Gerard Way that's kind of, What I'm wondering it will happen with this story, though, you know, with the whole World Star. How exactly do you back up your claims of saying that you were trafficked or abused? And somehow it connects to that video. What exactly... How do you get yourself out of this mess? That's your question, you know, when you're looking at this. What is the next play, or what is the end game? What do they see their play, especially as they become more desperate? I think that they will point the finger at someone, and I think it will be connected to that in some way, shape, or form. Maybe they won't do it publicly, maybe they'll do it behind the scenes, but I think in order to get out of it, you have to point the finger publicly at something. You have to use your story, and you have to link that in. The issue again with Eliza Blue is this: she's still defining this narrative. That's one of the biggest injustices when you look at this story. She still is defining the narrative in a lot of ways. There are again, you and I are covering it, but there is no mainstream coverage. There is nothing that's ghosted out. We're in the exact same place we were in with the trial we talked about forever. This is a big story. This is big in the point that a $44 billion industry promoted this person as the face of their company in fixing problems that weren't fixed. They gave them credit for fixing problems that weren't fixed. They propped them up, and in propping them up, they propped up somebody that it's not real. Again, I can't speak to their advocacy, mind you, but I can speak to, here's the problem with stuff like that too. Like when you question things, I even think that you need to get to the point where you question some of the results of advocacy, because when you get down to it, again, I'm going to end on this item. One of the companies that was being shouted out with Eliza, again, Eve's Angels. We've discussed this before. Eve's Angels, though, this person right here, they came out with a story talking about their background, and they were promptly sued over it. It actually, the document is publicly available. You could look it up on Case Text. Actually, I will put it in the, I will put this in the chat. Have at it if you want it. It is open to all, but in the lawsuit, the person that's speaking, another organization that's being hyped up around Eliza Blue, they were sued by their own family. Why? Because this person claimed that they had been had sex trafficked. There was money laundering going on behind the scenes, and the cops came in. Investigations happened, and nothing else resulted from it. After that, according to this person's parents and their brother, the daughter that made these claims, their daughter came forward and informed them that they were trying to extract a payout from the parents. They were basically, trying to blackmail them for money with accusations. And they ended up, the defendants, they never went to trial. They ended up getting a default judgment against them, which stood because they kept flaking out about decision over and over again. And that ended up costing $40,000. So when we get down to these testaments about advocacy and advocacy groups, it's a very slippery slope there. When people go in and they define these stories, again, they point fingers at their own families and say that, they were doing this, that, or the other. Again, this person's own parents felt comfortable enough, and their brother felt comfortable enough to take them to court, and them bringing up the daughter of the person that made these accusations, them feeling comfortable enough to bring that up. That says that, throughout trial, you would add some fireworks in that, But anyway. All right, I'm going to end here. I think this is enough. I think there's a lot covered in here. It's a crazy story. It's going to keep going. It's going to go on for days, weeks, possibly. The thing I'm going to encourage you to do is to not get tired of seeing it, because it's just like any other story like this. The framework of it is huge. We're talking there are politicos involved that it looks like are potentially trying to influence places and not write about this. We have, again, one of the richest people in the world involved, a $44 billion company, and so many more parts to this thing. It's just getting to this place. So again, I want to encourage you to just, you keep sharing it, you keep talking about it. The internet has the attention span of a gnat. We need to get over that, because if we want to make positive change, it takes time, real time. Advocacy, when you think about movements in the past, when you think about civil rights movement, for example, just giving you, things that you want to change, that didn't happen overnight. Now in this modern age of BS, people think they can just combat, they can one and done it and it's over. This has been going on for a while. Props to everybody that's been involved. And again, I'm going to encourage you to continue. You need to know answers, and you need to, when you're going down this rabbit hole, it's deep and there's a lot more to find. But anyway, I'm going to end here though. I do appreciate all of you, and if you notice stuff on it, my DMs are open too. I may, if I don't see you, make sure that somebody that I follow sees it, because sometimes it'll send you to spam, and Twitter's weird about this stuff too. Remember also that Twitter can read your DMs. Okay. So yeah, you can email me as well. But anyway, I appreciate you folks. I'm going to end here. I'm going to leave this one up too. I'm not going to leave every live stream up, but these are important. I think that they leave a factual background for what we're discussing. So anyway, all right. Thank you.